Hi friends, Shannon here from Cards by Shannon Lee. I am a creative crew member for Scrappiness. Today I have a fun technique using our pearl powders. What we're going to do are make these beautiful shiny leaves. I'm not sure if I'm going to make a card with them, but I'm going to show you how I get this beautiful shine with these pearl powders. And if you haven't guessed already, it's using embossing powder. Basically what I'm doing is I'm creating colored embossing powder with my pearl powders. What you will need are some clear containers or empty containers. Smaller containers are best because I wouldn't mix a big batch unless you are confident in the color and that you are happy with the color. So I recommend small containers. You need your pearl powders. You need clear embossing powder. I have superfine clear embossing powder. You need a little spoon, some Versamark or other watermark stamp pad or embossing ink pad, some cardstock, anti-static powder tool, and today I'm going to use the layered autumn leaves. And what you will need if you don't have this specific stamp set is solid stamps. Basically, when you see a lot of black on the stamp carrier sheet, that means that stamp will stamp solid. And that's how we're going to get our beautiful leaves. We're not going to be using the outlines of the stamp today. And the cool thing is there is a coordinating die set that comes with it that will cut out just the solid impression. If you notice, these leaves, the solid leaves, don't have stems on them. So there is a die to cut out the leaf outline with the stem, and there's also a die that cuts out just the solid portion of the stamp. So you can layer them up. This is a multi-use stamp set. Very good one to have for your fall cards in your stash. Okay, I'm going to start by, let's clean some of this up. We're not going to use this right now. I need to lay down some paper to protect my surface. I'll be right back. To start out, I'm going to let you know the names of the colors that I most likely will be using today. I have almost all of them. The only one I don't have is the actual pearl of the pearl powders, the pearl color. So I have the color mint, emerald, dark blue, black, red wine, pink, brown, bronze, and gold. We are going to start by just creating a single color with our pearl powders, and I'm going to use brown. I open up I'm going to give this a little shake, see if there's any clumps in there. Hopefully that kind of breaks them up. Okay, and I'll take my spoon, and this is just kind of the size of a spoon you might get at an ice cream store where you get the samples. That's approximately the size of the plastic spoon I'm using. So I have a heaping spoonful of the clear embossing powder, and I'm adding that to my container. Then I'm going to take my pearl powder in brown, and we're going to start, and what I usually do is I just scoop off a small amount. I probably could use about twice that. So another scoop, another small scoop. And then what I do is I just take the end of a paintbrush, and I'm going to stir that all up until I can decide if that's a dark enough color for me or if I should add some more pearl powder. And that looks pretty dark. So I think I'm happy with that color. I'm going to just put my lid on that. And I'm not going to make a label for it right now, so what I'm going to do is, I better make a label for it because I'm going to use the brown in another color mixture. So I just have a label here. Brown embossing powder. Add that to my little container, and I can set that aside. Okay, I have a list here of those that I want to do. So I'm going to do another, just a one single color embossing powder. Let me grab a paper towel so I can wipe off my spoon, because I don't want to mix my pearl powders together. The next one I'm going to use is red wine. So I'll get another heaping spoonful of my embossing powder. Wipe that off. And then open up my pearl powder. And both of these are really pigmented powders. So you don't have to add, I guess what I would recommend is probably 3 to 1. 3 parts embossing powder, 1 part of the pearl powder. So 1/3 as much of the pearl powder. And mix that up, and that's going to make a really beautiful embossing powder. Oops, getting a little messy here. Okay, and the next colors that I'm going to make, we're going to use a little bit of color theory and mix a few colors to make secondary and tertiary colors. So what I'm going to do, oh, I can't forget to make my label. I'll just write red wine. Okay. The next one I want to make is green, but the green that I have 2 greens, but these are not really fall-like greens. I have the mint and then I have the emerald. I think we're going to start with the emerald. We're going to add some blue, some of the dark blue, some of the gold, and some brown. Let me put the lid on my red wine. If you didn't know, blue and yellow make green. Emerald is already green, but what I want to do is create a more dingy green. So what I'm going to do is do a small portion. I think what we'll do to start out with is we'll start with the emerald and the brown, and then go from there to see how much of the gold and the dark blue I want to add. Let me clean off my spoon. Okay, and add my heaping spoonful of embossing powder. And then our emerald. Let me clean off this spoon. I'm going to do about half emerald, wipe that off, and then half brown. And hopefully that'll give us maybe like an olive, kind of dingy olive color. Hopefully. I haven't mixed the colors before, so this is all in theory. Ooh, this is really brown. I think, oh, we still have some green to mix in there. I think we're going to have to add a lot more green to this to get this to the color that I want. Wipe off my spoon again. The brown is highly pigmented versus the green is so much of a lighter color. So let's do some green. And I think I should do a little blue. I may have to add a little more embossing powder because I'm adding so much of the pearl powder. I'm just going to do a smidge of blue. There we go. Blue is very pigmented also. Okay, let me give this a stir and see where we're at. Okay, that looks more green. That's closer to what I was looking for. But this is not 100% accurate as far as the color it will show up when you add it to your clear embossing ink. Okay, so I'm going to add a label to that, and we'll write emerald, brown, and dark blue. Stick around till the end because I want to show you how I get the swirly colors on my stamped leaves that look just amazing. Okay, next we want orange. So let me grab a new container, clean off my spoon with my paper towel, and we're going to do some pink and some gold. And that, if you didn't know, red or pink and yellow make orange. Let me get a heaping spoonful of embossing powder. Clean off my spoon. And then let's start with pink. And this looks like it's pretty dark, so I'll do 1 part pink. Clean off my spoon. Then 1 part gold. I'm going to clean off the end of my paintbrush and stir this up and see what kind of an orange we get. Since that pink is kind of a corally pink, it's already on its way to orange. So I think the gold will give us a really nice autumn color. Yeah, I really like the way this one's turning out. Just stir it up until I feel like all of that pigment powder is mixed in with the embossing powder. Okay, that looks really good. I'm happy with that. Got pigment powder on the side of my jar. Okay, let me make a label for this one. Pink and gold. E powder. Okay, and I think our last one, or maybe next to the last one, we're going to create purple. And I'm going to use dark blue, brown, and I haven't decided if I want to use, I think I'll use the red wine. I think if I use the pink it will be too bright, and I want it more muted, more dingy autumn color. So let me clean off my spoon. And if you didn't know, red and blue creates purple or violet. Here's my heaping spoonful of embossing powder. Clean off my spoon again. And let's start with just a smidge of blue. Maybe a little more than that. Clean off my spoon again. A little bit of red wine. And let's stop there before I add the brown and see what kind of a purple I'm getting here. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't add any brown because I think that I need more blue, and I think if I added, I think I need more blue. I'll have to compare it to the red wine and see what that looks like. Oh, here's more blue that needs to be mixed in. Yeah, I think I could use a little bit more blue. Make that a little more purpley. There we go. Well, that's very nice. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't add any of the brown. This is going to be a really pretty color. I think I should... No, I don't think we need to do a gold. I think the orange that we made is close enough to gold that I don't need to create that extra color. Or should we? I'll have to think on that for a second. I do have one more jar. Okay, this is red wine and dark blue. E-powder. Okay, my last jar. We're going to create some gold. Just gold by itself. Or maybe we should create maybe a darker gold and add a little brown to it. Make it look a little more antique-y. Here's my heaping spoonful of embossing powder. Wipe off my spoon on my paper towel. And gold. So we're going to do one part of gold. And let's add a small amount of brown. Just a little bit of brown. Ooh, that looks like it's a lot. Hopefully it won't be too much. I'm going to clean off the end of my paintbrush here. And stir this up and let's see what we get. It's kind of dark, but we still have a lot of gold that needs to be mixed in there. I think this is going to be a great color. A real dingy gold. And if you didn't know, you can, to kind of grunge up your colors, brown and black work very well. I do have black, but I didn't use that in any of my mixtures today. But I do have it for future use. Okay, that looks beautiful. Okay, I'm going to clean this up and we're going to get to stamping. So off camera, I've gone ahead and stamped a panel with several of the leaf images from the layered, what is it called? Layered autumn leaves? Layered autumn leaves. Yes, I was correct. Okay, and now comes the fun part. We are going to sprinkle our powders onto the leaves, but we're going to do it in little spurts. And what I mean is I am going to use my spoon. I'm going to start with the red wine and dark blue, the purple color that I created, and I'm going to take some in my spoon and I'm going to sprinkle little areas of my leaves that I want to appear purple. There we go. I think we'll use a little more there. And some on this. I think maple leaves turn purple, or even Japanese maples do have the purple leaves, so that is my thinking on why I'm doing this leaf with the purple. And yeah, done with the purple. Clean off my spoon and grab another color. How about some red wine? Now you might have guessed that after you use this embossing powder the way I'm using it, I'm not going to be able to reuse the excess. What I mean is, this is a one-shot wonder where when I'm done, I'm going to sprinkle it all off, but all of the colors will mix together and, I don't know, we may get a nice brown out of it. Okay, next I'm going to bring in the brown powder and finish off these two maple leaves. Whoops, got some brown on my oak leaf. There we go. I guess we'll use a little bit of brown on the oak leaves since it's already got on there. There we go. And a little more on here. There we go. And we're done with the brown. Oh, not quite. I'm going to use some of the pink and gold, the orange that we created, and finish off those oak leaves with the orange. Oops. It's best to scoop the tiniest bit at a time and sprinkle that on there. And I think we'll use a little bit of this on here since we've already got some on there. And then I'm going to add some green to those. Maybe a little brown. Okay, the next is the emerald and brown. Is that it? Emerald, brown, and dark blue. Clean off my spoon again. And I'm going to save a little bit of room on here for some, oops, for some brown. Just tappy a little bit at a time. I'm trying to rush since this has already become such a long video. I guess now is as good a time as any to ask if you enjoy this content to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the Cat Scrappiness channel. We appreciate all of the subscribers and all of the watchers, whether you're subscribed or not, but like I said, we appreciate you. Add some brown. I think these are just about all the way covered. Okay, let me put my lids on. What is this? Let's see. That's pink. This is brown. This is emerald. Okay, now, oh, I forgot that one. Forgot to add the orange to that. You know what? I'm going to add a little bit of the gold to that one since we haven't used the gold yet. Okay, there we go. Okay, now to ensure that I have embossing powder on all of them, I'm just going to kind of give it a little shake. Make sure that ink grabs powder, and then give it a tap. Ooh, this is going to be pretty. And push this, oops. Get this out of the way. That's good. Now I'm going to bring in my heat tool and melt the embossing powder. Okay. There we go. There are our shiny, embossed autumn leaves. And I haven't decided if I'll die cut this or not. Oh, I forgot one final step that you do need to take. As soon as the embossing powder, the melted embossing, cools down, you need to wipe off the remaining pearl powder. The embossing powder will tap off, but the pearl powder will kind of stick to the to the cardstock, so you will have to wipe that off to have a clean card base. Or you can leave it and enjoy, maybe give it a spritz of water, and the resin in that pearl powder will do what it does. Make it solidify, not solidify, that's not the word, make it adhere to the paper. Whichever you like. I'm going, as soon as this cools down, I'm going to wipe it off. But I wanted to let you know to stay tuned until the end, or at the end of the month. I'll create another video showing you how I make a card with these beautiful leaves and all that shine. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.